Hey guys, Evolutionary Podcast coming your way. This is number 313 Q&A episode. We have 5 awesome topics ahead. We're going to be really fun on this one. Stevesmi here and Rick in the house. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, Steve? What's up, guys? How's everybody doing out there?
All right, guys. So this is going to be a fun one. The first one is the morality of buying HGH from an HIV positive person. This was a question on the forum. And a guy really was conflicted on this. And I was kind of surprised by the responses on the forum. So basically, this guy has a buddy of his. He's a crack addict, heroin, whatever. He got HIV from heroin, injecting, sharing needles. That's a common thing that happens. And basically, the buddy gets, a government dole. He's on the government dole. And he gets, because he's HIV positive, he gets some HGH every month. And basically what happens a lot with these HIV patients, what they'll do is they'll take the HGH that they're given for free from the government, and then they'll sell them to someone else, makes money off of it, and then buy drugs. So this guy's in a little bit of a moral dilemma here, and he wants to know what everyone's opinion is if he was to buy that HGH from his heroin-addicted buddy and give his buddy cash and use that HGH, because the HIV-positive person needs the HGH to help them with muscle wasting and stuff. So I'm bringing in Rick on this one. I'm here.
Yeah, internet's a little laggy, so it was a little bit tough to hear you back. That's a tough one. I'm a free market guy, and I'm all about personal rights, and this should be the right of two individuals to do whatever they want as far as commerce goes. But I mean, it is illegal. Moral dilemma. I don't know if there is much one. I haven't been faced with this situation. I don't really know what I would do in the face of it. One thing's for sure: if he's getting it from the gov, about as legit human grade growth hormone you're ever going to get. I mean, that's a find. You get in USA certified human growth hormone, nothing better than that. But you are buying it from someone that should be using it. He should be using it. Look, if the guy was at least taking some Anavar or Anadrol or one of these other drugs to help him with muscle wasting and stuff, I mean, it's still a tough one, man, because he needs it. I'm going to vote neutral on this one and just say whatever you guys want to do. I haven't been faced with it. I'd have to know the person and know what the real deal is. Chances are, if he's a drug addict, he might be using this money for drugs, or maybe he just needs the money to live on. That has a lot to do with it. I can't provide a real answer, man. I mean, it's a tough one, dude. It's a really, really hard one to give a good answer for. Look, I'm all about personal liberties and people being able to do what they want. So I'm probably going to lean on that side of just let individuals do whatever they want to do.
So my opinion is, if this guy is a drug addict and he has HIV and stuff, you're actually basically helping him dig his own grave by accepting the HGH from him.
If he's still using,
giving him money.
If he's still using drugs, for sure.
So for me, at the end of the day, you can find legit HGH on your own. You don't have to go through him, and you can actually find HGH cheaper on your own.
You barely ever run across black market U.S. certified human growth hormone. I mean, this case where somebody has a script to get real American bona fide growth hormone, and they are going to pass it down and let you buy it off of them. This is pretty rare. You don't come across this a lot. Have you?
Yeah, I know where to get it. I mean, it can be done.
You'd have to, and the amount that they get, you probably have to buy 3-4 months off of them to run a really good, really decent cycle, because they're not getting much per day either.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, but that's fine. That's all fine and dandy. But my issue is, you're helping dig this guy's grave. If you're his friend, you should be helping him. You should be encouraging him to use the HGH so he prevents that muscle wasting so he doesn't just waste away. You start taking that HGH and giving him cash, then he goes and uses that cash on drugs. You're helping him dig his own grave. I just, to me, that doesn't make any sense, because this guy's if this guy wastes away, continues using drugs, and just dies, then you're going to have his death on your conscience. He's your friend here. He's your friend. So I would, I wouldn't do it. I would be like, look, dude, you got to come off. You got to come off the drugs. You got to get help. You got to go to rehab. You need to keep that HGH. Maybe sell a little bit of it, if you need some cash right now, but don't, you got to use it. It's prescribed to you as an HIV patient for a reason. And if you don't use it, you're just going to waste away to nothing. And I've seen guys go from 250 pounds to 140 pounds. And I know you have too, Rick. I know you used to work with a guy who was like that. And, it's not, addictions are something that are very, I don't like to blame the victim when it comes to addiction. It's so easy to just to point the finger and blame the victim, but you should be blaming the person who first let them use an extremely addictive substance in the first place. That should be the person that you attack, not the actual victim. So, my opinion is, listen, you've got to just help the person. You got to help the person and not help yourself in this situation, because you're just going to have a guilty conscience over just some HGH. I mean, we're talking HGH here. I mean, it's kind of silly just to kill your friend over some HGH. So I wouldn't do it. I would be helping him.
I personally wouldn't do it, but if I knew two people across the street doing it, I wouldn't think anything bad of either one of them. See, I personally wouldn't do it either, because when somebody has a real drug problem like that and they're unwilling to get help and get on the road, nowadays, with my experience, I'm the first one to go, because I've been there before, where I put everything down and stopped everything I was doing to help somebody who was addicted to drugs and wouldn't stop. And I put all my energy into trying to get this person to recover. I mean, full on, like I was there, and I moved over to their vicinity for a while and really tried, and it was just impossible. So when I see somebody on drugs nowadays, they're out of my life pretty quickly, because I just know what that experience is like. So if I see people across the street doing it, I'm fine, whatever. They want to sell their meds to each other, is their problem. I personally wouldn't do it. I probably wouldn't be in a financial relationship of any kind with someone who's got a drug problem, no matter how good friends of mine they are. And they probably get like one, maybe two talkings to like that, the way Steve just described. Don't get a third or a fourth talking to about this, because I refuse to surround myself with people that are like that. So, and
also you're breaking the law buying HGH from him.
Do that with steroids now. We do that with steroids now. I mean, that part.
No, I'm saying you're buying. There's a difference between buying.
Well, you're making
from a
yourself
person.
hot. Yeah, you're having a financial transactions with someone that's also on the street buying drugs. You're making yourself hot.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
If this guy was like a sober,
if
he was like a sober dealer from a gym, just a big muscle head, But if this guy is drug addict, HIV positive, all these things, you're close. You're just you're not that far from getting set up for something stupid for him to get out of trouble of something. It does happen.
I've learned over the years, I'm a really nice guy. I've learned over the years just to say no. If someone offers me that type of transaction, even if it's for half the price or a quarter of the price of what that HGH is going to sell for, let's say it's $1,000 worth of HGH, they want to sell it to me for $250. No, just simple no. I mean, I it's just sometimes you have to just say no.
Shit. So, what do we got?
Next one, guys, bulking with steroids before reporting to prison. This guy, speaking of the last topic, this is a guy, he's about to check into the clink, and he wants to know what kind of steroids he should be using before he checks in, because he wants to go in there and he wants to kick some ass as soon as he walks in there. So The thing about prison, guys, you walk in there, you're in a maximum security prison. As soon as you walk in there, you're either going to be prey or predator. They're going to be sizing you up. If they think that they can that you're a prey, they're going to make you into their bitch. You know what I'm saying? They're going to make you into the bitch. You're going to have to hook them up with sexual favors, and they're going to protect
bro.
you.
Where were you in? What the fuck? How many years did you do, Steve? You sound like you got experience.
You got experience down there in those Colombian prisons.
We need to start the podcast and get the show going, man.
Let's say that you never lose it, when you're done prison, that all that tension builds up in the shoulders. You know that, right?
Right. Okay. So, what do you think? Getting big on steroids to go into prison, you think is a good idea or not, Steve? What would you do, Steve?
I would be all over tren. I would be like loading up on the tren. I'd be running 500 milligrams a week of tren ahead of prison. That's gonna make you strong. That's gonna make you big. Long ester tren and enanthate. This way, when you go in, it's still gonna be in your system for 4 or 5 more weeks. I'll be loading up, and the day before you check in, I'd be injecting, dude. I'd inject 1, 2, 3, 4 spots all over my body with some tren. This way, it's still in my body when I check in. And this way, when you go in, you're hard, you're confident. They know not to fuck with you, and you can at least get it in there. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe you can get someone, your girl or your boy, could sneak some in. While you're in there, you could throw the guard there some cash. He can bring you in some too. So that's what I'd be doing. I'd be all over the trend, bro. The trend is awesome for that. And then some long ester steroid, or some long, really long ester steroid. Maybe sustanin. Maybe get some testosterone decanate. Really, really long ester of steroids that will be in your system good month or two after you inject. What do you think?
All right, so obviously never been myself, but given some thought here while I was listening to you, I would not use steroids going into a prison. I would not want to be in there going through like post-cycle and maybe going through some endocrine situation, and I can't get my hands on meds to get myself right. And also, how much time do I have? I mean, would I have a month to report in, 2 months, 3 months? Are we mid-case and my lawyer already told me like, hey, you're going to get sentenced, get your shit together. We got 2 more months. I mean, what is the situation? How much time do I have? I wouldn't. I'd go on testosterone boosters, body cleansers, just anything to get my body ready. I make sure to get all my dental work done out of the way. Yoga, stretching, Pilates, anything to get you into a sustainable mode. Steroids and steroid use, it's not something you can just walk away from overnight. You have to cycle off. Even after you cycle off, months and months later, you might have a drop, and then you'll have to run into guys. I did a cycle a year ago, PCT properly, went to the doctor. My levels are low, and I'm 25. You got to do PCT again, even if you haven't juiced in a year. You just got to go through it again. Sometimes this happens. This stuff is so don't. If you use steroids to just bulk up, you're gonna get yourself really. Nah, bro. You can develop a situation where you might have high estrogen and low testosterone your 3rd or 4th month in there, and you can't get your hands on anything to help you out. So no, get your body right. And all that time that you would have spent lifting weights, listen, you'll have plenty of time to lift weights when you're in prison. All that time you spent lifting weights, go learn how to box and go learn how to wrestle and go get cardio. So cardio is number one for fighting. Even if you don't know how to throw a punch, just have great cardio and you'll beat most people, and just learn how to box, learn how to wrestle. I probably wouldn't be all in that wrestling. You'd want to learn how to box and throw hands. You only need to learn about 4 or 5 punches, a jab, a cross, left hook, right uppercut. I mean, and if you wanted to learn some kickboxing, you just need to learn like a low kick, maybe a front kick. I mean, you don't need to learn a lot of stuff, man, to defend yourself. You need to learn maybe how to throw 4 good punches and learn how to throw maybe 2 good kicks. And that's it. and just become real familiar with fighting. Make sure that you spend all your last weeks going into jail, spend them sparring, with guys that know how to fight at the gym. Just get as many sparring sessions in as you possibly can. And that's it. And when you go in, make sure you've done all the fiber you can do to get your colon right. Make sure your dental work is done and taken care of. Make sure you got all of your vaccines. Make sure you've taken testosterone boosters and are pretty post-cycle therapy out of steroids. Just make sure you get your body right and your mind right. Make sure you're doing yoga. Make sure you get into meditation. Also, if you're going to state prison, chances are you might know friends on the outside now that have cousins and family inside. Try to make some of those connections now. Make sure you make some of those connections now. You're going to learn pretty quickly when you go into prison. And I know this from watching documentaries, obviously, that you have to stick to your own race. So maybe you want to find if friends of yours have, family, cousins in there, get a little bit of rapport about them before you go in. Make sure you don't go in there not knowing anybody, but you try to at least make a connection or two in there so that you at least have somebody to sit with. Beforehand, they have to be your own race, just FYI. Most prisons.
Rick.
Yeah, that.
Which one would you join, the Northern Mexicans or Southern Mexicans?
You know what? When it comes to that question, when you get to prison, right? Unless you get, from what I've heard, right? Unless you get to like Rikers, right? Then in Rikers, then there are like 3 sets of different Latino gangs and things like that. But in most prisons, it's just all Latin people one side, blacks on the other, and whites on the other side. No matter.
Don't forget the others.
No matter who you were claiming. Yeah, there's always others, but it doesn't matter who you were claiming. At least this is what I get. There's a good YouTube channel called, I think it's called Fresh Out or something like that. It's called Fresh Out with a big dude, and they talk all about prison life. So learning how to fight is much better than looking bulky. You get all bulky on steroids and you don't practice how to fight, how to throw punches. You don't have good cardio. And you get in there, you look big and you get beat up. And then you start getting abused because you're a big dude, big steroid guy, and you're getting beat up by smaller guys. And then your steroids run out and you have no PCT meds. Your estrogen might spike. You have no anti-estrogens in there. It's just setting yourself up to have problems, in my opinion, doing that. I think you could just train natty and learn how to really, really fight. Like, fuck lifting weights, bro. Fuck just looking big. Like, you have to really learn how to fight. You got to learn how to put the weight on the balls of your feet and how to move your feet and then let your hands move behind your body and put all your weight behind that shit and knock some motherfuckers out. And unless you can learn to put your weight behind your punches, lifting weights is fucking useless. Most guys that are big meatheads can't fight for shit. Okay? Most guys that are big old meatheads can't fight for shit. It's one of the reasons that kept me from becoming a big-ass meathead, because I like sparring. And I don't want to get embarrassed when I'm rolling, when I'm doing a little Thai boxing. I don't want to get embarrassed when I spar. So most meatheads aren't good at fighting, and that's just what happens. You get some freaks of nature, like some of these guys in Pride, and so you get some genetic freaks that can juice, look like bodybuilders, and fight. But that's not the norm. Not everybody's Kevin Randleman, and even he had an early demise. These guys that look like bodybuilders and can fight, very rare, very rare. It doesn't happen often.
So what is the difference between Northern Mexicans and Southern Mexicans, anyway, real quick?
It's all got to do with the cartels and the drug trade, I believe. Well, Northern, are you talking about? Because you're talking about different things. Mexicans gangs in Mexico, Mexican gangs like in Texas.
No, like in California, like you watch the prison shows. You've got the groups. You got the blacks, the whites. You got the Northern Mexicans. And you got the Southern Mexicans.
I have no real clue. The only thing I could think of, just from watching prison documentaries and maybe knowing a person or two, it's the cartel connections on the outside. The cartels, they have guys that are in prison that they take care of. A lot of guys in prison are there serving time, keeping their mouth shut for bigger guys that are on the outside that are cartel connected. So usually you have some Mexican gangs work with one cartel and other Mexican gangs work with a different cartel. And that carries on into jail, apparently. It's the only thing I could think of. And why would they North and South be a difference? Look, people like to section themselves off by cities, by races, by whatever. So if we're all Mexican and we're all in Cali and we're all in, whatever, LA, I mean, what else do we got to section ourselves off but being from North or South LA, right? I mean, if we're all Mexican, right, and we're all in the same city and we're all in the same state, so now what do we got? Well, North guys don't like the South guys. So that's probably all it is, and also cartel connections. I doubt the two gangs in war are buying their imports from the same cartel connects. They usually.
I just looked it up. It says because the northern Mexicans are more white, and then the southern Mexicans are more indigenous.
That doesn't mean anything in California, because you could have people that came from the north of Mexico that settle in the south of the city, and then you have people from the south of Mexico that settle in the north of the city. And you talk about gangs. If you're talking about in Mexico, then yeah, I mean, there's some cartels that are more from the northern part of the country, some cartels that are closer to the southern part of the country. Yeah, it's the different story, buddy.
Yeah. So yeah, if anyone knows that answer, feel free to come on the forum and share it, because I've always wondered that watching those shows. All right, guys. So the next question is, how much test is too much test on a cycle? So it's a pretty simple, cut and dry question. I'll answer this. The most I've ever ran was 750, and I didn't really get much of a difference than 500. Actually, I didn't get any of a difference, Rick. When I ran 750 versus 500, it really seemed like the side effects were the only thing that was a difference. So I really think 500 milligrams is plenty on a cycle. I actually like to run my tests very, very low or no tests at all with my cycles. And when I'm running a test-only cycle, maybe with an oral, 500 milligrams, plenty. 400 or 500 milligrams, plenty. I really don't think it's necessary to run 750 or 1,000 like some people. I really think that started years ago because people were buying really, really bad quality underground testosterone. So they'd run it and they feel like, yeah, I'm not getting anything on 400. I'm not getting anything on 500. I got to run 700. I got to run 800. I got to run 1,000 over a gram of steroids because I'm not getting any results. So that's what I really think that's from. But I mean, I've never ran more than 750 a week, so I haven't really felt what that feels like, but I don't imagine it would feel very good. I would imagine you'd get very fatigued. I would imagine your estrogen issues would become out of control. I would imagine you would have to run a lot of aromatase inhibitors to balance that out, and then you'll run too much of an AI and crash your estrogen too low. So I just think that anything more than 500 is too much test on a cycle. So, but I'm curious to hear what you think, Rick. What's the most you've ever run? What's your opinion on this?
I've done a gram and a little bit over. There was a time on the forums that guys believed you had to have a gram of testosterone as the base for every cycle. And then you would throw, 400, 500 in of DECA, and then your EQ, and then you throw whatever, some oral kickstart. But, you needed to have a gram of test per week as the start of your cycle. I don't believe that, right? I think everybody should keep their total steroid intake to just a gram or less. If you're not making good results, just really good progress on a gram, then you've got to re-examine things. Either you're just a big dude, just a huge guy already, and you need more than that per week just to maintain those big, huge slabs of muscle you got on, or you just have some real issues, because you should be able to maintain a great amount. I mean, you should look incredible, not the musculature you can hold on to at a gram a week. A gram a week a test. If you're taking the right anti-estrogens and taking the right anti-DHT medications, you'll be fine. But at a gram, you're going to have side effects begin to get out of control. So at a gram, you already want to be taking Novadex, just standard every day, about 20 milligrams. I'll probably take no matter what every single day of Nova. And then I would probably on top of that play around with the Aromasin dose and see if I can dial that in so that I'm not a big water bag and I don't have other estrogen related side effects. So definitely just the Nova already to block all that estrogen from attaching to the estrogen receptors under your nipples and the glands there. Novadex, boom, on the spot. And then just tweak from 6 to 12. aromacin dosage to see where you can get at with the estrogen. If you could take a couple of estrogen tests during that time, even better. And then obviously, finasteride, make sure that dehydrotestosterone conversion doesn't get out of control. And if you've got all those drugs, man, you're gonna have some great results on testosterone. I mean, it'll build muscle. It'll be great. It's a great cycle. Just keep it from converting to estrogen in really high volumes, and keep it from converting to dehydrotestosterone in really high volumes, and you'll have a great cycle, actually, especially if you can get good human grade testosterone, like good, certified bona fide human grade testosterone, a gram a week with Novadex aromacin dosage that you tweak around, and some finasteride. Think you're in for a really good cycle, some good growing.
Yeah, for sure. It's not about how much you use. It's about, the quality of the gear, I think. So, I mean, that's my opinion. All right, guys. So the next one is about Tutka. So Tutka is a really, really cool supplement, and a lot of guys don't really know about it. One of the things that Tutka does really, really well is it cleanses out your liver, cleanses out your kidneys, cleanses out your organs as a whole. It helps kind of push out all those toxins through your bile ducts out of your liver. So it kind of helps clear everything out, especially when you're using steroids, because steroids, are toxic in the body. So are a lot of things that you're eating. So are a lot of things that you're drinking, the water you drink, the food you eat, the drugs that you take, taking an aspirin, drinking alcohol, all the stuff. So the Tutka in your body naturally pushes things out, helps you push things out. It's naturally found in the body, but when you add it, when you supplement it, you get even more of it. So it's kind of like opening up a pipe in your house where the sewage is leaving and then the clean water is coming in. And if you have a blockage where the sewage can't go out, that sewage is going to back up into the house, and you're going to have a hell of a problem. So Tutka is a really, really awesome supplement. It's actually in N2Guard, and it's one of the ingredients in N2Guard. So I'm going to bring in Rick. Rick, tell me a little bit about Tutka and why it was added to N2.
So Tutka is one of these ingredients that's come along in the last decade or so and become real popular. It's become commercially available, I should say, the last decade in supplements, and become really popular really quickly. Tutka just works to help heal the liver, the bile ducts. It does everything. It also helps to lower liver enzymes. After 1 month of using Tutka, you notice some incredible results. And then 3 months of taking Tutka every day is when you reach about the maximum effect. You can expect significantly lower AST levels, ALT, GGT, all these liver enzymes. All the levels get into the favorable range. It also is known to help with cholesterol levels. It also has some good effects kidneys as well, but it's not what it is best at. It's really best for the liver and helping to heal the liver. So that's what it's mostly known for. But anybody taking oral steroids or SARMs in 2020, you should be taking Tutka. If you're not, then you're not doing your research. You don't know what you're doing. Because we all know by now just what an effect all of these steroids and these SARMs and even just injectable steroids can have on our liver. And we know Tutka is the go-to product. Now, you can just buy Tutka from any other company. They're Tutka-only products. It doesn't have to be mine. But if you want the Tutka with the milk thistle, with several other ingredients there to help your liver, your kidneys, blood pressure, cholesterol, everything, water retention, everything on cycle to help clear your androgen receptors so that the steroids work better, all this stuff, a full multivitamin and multimineral, all that, you need to use N2Guard, okay? So N2Guard is that Tutka product plus multivitamin plus multimineral plus liver cleanser with the kidneys, with everything you need. So N2Guard has the Tutka and other stuff. But yeah, you have to take Tutka. And if you're taking oral steroids, you should take Tutka every single day with it. And you're going to see great liver values. I mean, this is just not an opinion, guys. Forums all over the internet, steroid forums, guys have been on there posting their test results, their liver values from taking Tutka now for ages. I mean, it's been years now since the stuff came out. The guys have been posting test results and how good their liver values look just taking Tutka. It's the reason why we added Tutka to N2Guard, and it just made the cut. It's a great ingredient, and everybody loves it. I think everybody should be taking it if you're taking steroids.
Yeah, one note, I had an angry guy email me, and he's like, I bought N2Guard, and just because it has Tutka in it, and I don't see Tutka in it. Have you ever gotten these types of emails, Rick?
Oh, because the full name is taurourosodelic cholic acid, and we spelled out taurourosodelic. I can't pronounce this thing, man.
So I'll pronounce it here. I'll try to pronounce it. Tuatagaloavoa. No, it's a tauroursodeoxycholic acid. So that's the full name, guys. So you're not going to see TUDCA capital letters in the formula on the label. You're going to see that entire long ass word on there, but the short version of it is Tutka. So when you look at it, you'll see it. It's on the second part of where you see the ingredients. So it is definitely in there, guys. So I have to point that out to people, and they feel kind of embarrassed when I point that out to them. But it's a common mistake on guys' part to think, oh yeah, I don't see Tutka in the ingredients, but that's the full name. So it is definitely in there, guys. So yeah, it's a must use on cycle, off cycle, standalone, whatever. Just think about it, guys. Think of your house. You got the plumbing system going. You got, you go to the bathroom, you flush the toilet, the waste goes out, and then fresh water comes back. Waste goes out, fresh water comes back. That's how our bodies work. So you want to make sure that you've got enough Tutka in your body to make sure it's flushing all the waste out and there's no blockage. A lot of people out there have bile duct issues, and I actually knew a girl, Rick, who she had back pain, and she went to 10 different doctors. No one could figure it out. So finally, it took 10 different doctors. Finally, the 11th doctor she saw, he was like, he diagnosed her properly. He said, you got a bile duct blockage. So she had to get the surgery done and everything. And then afterwards, the doctor put her on Tutka. So bottom line is, this is a real big issue. And a lot of people have this issue, and it may not manifest itself in lower back pain like her situation, but for you, it can manifest itself in other things. It could be a compromised immune system. It could be you're not absorbing nutrients good enough. It could be you're not sleeping well. It could be you have fatigue, you have no energy. There's so many different things in there, and it could be all because you have a bile duct blockage forming in your body. So taking the Tutka and supplementing it is the best thing you could do for yourself. And really, I did some research on it recently because I wrote an article about Tutka, and I was kind of blown away at how effective this stuff is. So any support supplement, guys, that doesn't have Tutka, it's not worth a damn. The support supplement, it's something for sure that you should be including in your cycle. If you're using steroids, you got to be out of your mind not to be taking this stuff. And N2Guard has 44 total ingredients, like Rick was talking about, and it's got 250 milligrams per serving of Tutka, which is plenty to be using daily, and that's going to help your body tremendously. You're just going to feel better taking this stuff. Like within days, you'll start feeling better.
It's just a great ingredient to take. It's just a really good ingredient to add to your diet every day if you can. If you're on or off steroids, if you don't take steroids, if you know someone who's been a drinker throughout their life, someone older, someone who wasn't watching their diet, it really is an ingredient that I think most of us should take on a daily basis. We all know that there is tons of pollution out there, tons of contamination, everything from that fish we eat to the water to stuff that we breathe in, a bunch of chemicals and things that get put on our skin every single day just through going through life. Pick up your car from the wash and they've put a bunch of chemicals on the dashboard. You're going to get that in your skin. It's going to make it into your body somehow and deliver the kidneys, help filter out a lot of this crap and help you get rid of it. So you should be helping and supporting your liver and kidneys no matter what. And if you're taking steroids, then it's a given. It's a must. That's why I said, if you're listening to this, doing some kind of oral cycle of either SARMs or steroids, and you're not taking Tutka, doesn't have to be my brand, guys. It doesn't have to be the N2 guard. You can get something else. But if you're not taking the Tutka, at least really high amount of good quality milk thistle, minimum, then you're not doing your research. You're just going to be one of these guys that hurts themselves and tells everybody steroids suck. And you really want to be taking care of yourself during cycle and not omit these products that you should be taking every day.
All right, guys. So we like to add in a relationship topic to finish out the show because it's something we all have to deal with. So this is a good question. And this guy says that he lost his wife to cancer. Really, really sorry to hear this, bro. He said he's trying to cope and he wants to get himself out there again to start dating again. So first off, as I've gotten older, I've made friends through my hobbies and neighbors and stuff. And it's really, really shocking how many people I know whose wives have passed away from cancer, specifically cancer. It's a really, really big epidemic. And, it's really, really a bad situation to go through that because as a guy, sometimes I can't imagine a situation where you're married to someone for 20, 30 years and then one day, poof, she's gone. And that person who was, you sleep next to every night, the person you wake up next to, the person who, does your laundry, the person who, cooks for you every now and then, the person who, use your best friend that you're talking to every day, that one day they're gone. So it's extremely devastating on all the guys I know. When you have tragedy in your life, it's not that simple to just say, you know what, just get over it, because you don't. Even things that happen to you when you were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, those things travel with you the rest of your life. I mean, we know that. That's why you see kids that have been through, in the foster care system, they have really, really tough time as adults in certain situations. Not all, but most do. I'm sure maybe someone listening to this been in that situation. They're perfectly fine, whatever. But whether that's the case or not, we all gone through stuff. Maybe we grew up watching our parents fight. Maybe we got abused when we were 4 years old. Maybe we got injured. Maybe we went through some type of trauma. All affects us later. So the simple thing, guys, is no, you never get over it. That's the thing. If you start dating again, one of the things that you may notice is you want to compare the new person you're dating to your wife, to your ex-wife. And that's a mistake because women are very, very different. You haven't been dating in so long that you want to kind of like find someone that was like your wife. You want to kind of replace her. But sometimes it's better just to go a completely different direction and just date someone who's complete opposite of your wife instead of just trying to replace her in that situation. I was also, you got to talk to someone on this. As men, we tend to just, it's considered a weakness to seek help. It's considered a weakness to be upset or to be depressed or any of this stuff when stuff like this happen. But it's actually the opposite. It's actually a weakness to not seek help. It's actually a weakness to not be depressed. It's actually a weakness to not be angry. Why did this have to happen to me type of situation. So that makes you just a strong person to be like that. So don't be scared about that. It's very important. In my situation, I can only compare it to a bad breakup. And for me, the best thing that I did when I've gone through a bad breakup is move. This way you're not always seeing the memories. You're not seeing the memories of being in the same house. You're not seeing the memories of going to your favorite restaurant, driving by your favorite restaurant. You're not seeing the memories of your favorite location. You're not seeing the memories of having her friends, email you or call you or be on your phone and stuff. So that tends to help just to start a new life in another city, if possible. That if you're really, really upset about it, that could be a suggestion. But I'm going to bring in Rick on this. I'm sure he has a lot of advice.
Because of where I'm at, I run into a lot of guys that are divorced or recently separated for whatever reason. Just kind of goes with the territory. A lot of guys who may be in good shape when they were younger, they'll want to hop back on the sauce and get back into the gym after their first divorce. This guy's case, he lost his wife to cancer, and it's got to be pretty hard. It's got to be pretty tough to see her go like that when you want to stay with her. Getting yourself out there, it's just got to happen natural. You have to get out there, be social, get numbers, go on dates, and just don't be too quick to get into a relationship. Things will develop on their own. They'll fit. You just have to get out there, be social, meet people, go out on dates, work on yourself, obviously, work on yourself big time. And that's it. You have to maybe talk to a counselor, seek a professional. You have to make sure that you're over the relationship with your ex-wife. I can't imagine. I actually said I can only imagine what it would be like to lose someone in that situation, because if you lose your wife like this, dies, then you don't have any bad feelings or bad memories to really hold on to help you get over the relationship, which is something that helps a lot of people, is to remember that they're better off not being with this person. So here you don't have a lot of the mental crutches that you could give yourself to get over a relationship, because it wasn't her intention to leave you, correct? So I can only imagine how hard it is. You have to first of all, you have to forgive yourself for moving on. And that's one thing that you're going to notice is going to come out in counseling. So that you need to not feel guilty for just moving on with your life, and for really forgive yourself for just kind of moving on. And also you want to make sure that you don't you wouldn't let a bad past relationship ruin any new future relationships, right? You don't want to let this good relationship that ended abruptly get in the way of a new relationship to grow. So you need to make sure that you're over her. You're not going to be constantly talking about her, that her items and her stuff is out of the house. You have to really have moved on before you bring somebody else in. Don't try to bring somebody else in if you haven't moved on and you haven't fully healed, because it's just going to it's going to maybe ruin a good chance and a good opportunity that you could have had with someone real special. You could ruin it because it's not the right time. So make sure that you're ready before you go out there and start meeting people, so you don't just waste some good opportunities when you weren't ready. And get help. You'll hear that a lot on this podcast. I do believe that therapists can help a lot of people. If you're going in there wanting to be helped, you'll get the help you need, for sure.
Can you be specific? What type of help should he be seeking? Where can he find?
There's specific grieving counselors. There's specific counselors for grieving.
How does he find them?
Google it. It's easy as hell. Grieving counselors, or near my location, counselor, psychologist, or even near my location. It'll come up. I mean, look for we talked about on the podcast, right? Put your divorce on steroids. Search for a divorce counselor. It's a psychologist that helps you get divorced. Run back to that podcast. That's a good one. So just a grieving counselor. It's a whole practice. Like it's a thing, and you need to be over that person so you don't ruin chances for yourself in the future. And if you're still grieving, if you're still not over the relationship, and somebody new comes into your life, just be honest, but say, hey, I still want to see you, I still want to hang out with you, but I'm kind of getting over this person that passed away. So it's not like they're around, but I'm still getting over it a little bit. So just have a little bit of patience. I think you're great, though. I want to hang out with you, and I think it'll be fine. I don't see that. If she's worth it, she'll understand. It's not like you're trying to get over somebody that's alive and you might get back with. I think most women would walk away from something like that. If you say, hey, I'm still not over this girl and she lives next town over, but I still want to hang out, might not get anywhere. But if you say, look, she passed away, great lady, but she's gone, she died, still not fully over it, please, let's hang out, let's get to know each other, and just give me a little bit of time. I don't see any reasonable woman rejecting that. Do you?
All right, guys. That was some really good advice on the show. Appreciate you guys listening. We'll have another episode up next week for Stevesmi and Rick. Another episode of Evolutionary Radio. Talk to you guys next week.
Have a good one, Steve. Have a good one, guys.
Guys, this is the required legal disclaimer. We are only sharing our experience from years of steroid use. We are not doctors, and none of what we say should be regarded as medical advice. Always check with your doctor before taking any drugs or starting any training program.